some of these boundaries I didn't even know had to be set.
Just because you learn it doesn't mean that it's so easy to practice.
I feel like it's really important, especially for your mental health and emotional health.
I don't want my sister to just force me to babysit. Not to say that this happens. With all my friends, they know not to do this one thing.
I'm a mom now, so I think about these things. How am I going to teach him about healthy boundaries to set?
That person is upset that you set a boundary.
That person is not meant for you. Family members, that's a different situation. Therapy is always amazing. Better help. What's up, you guys?
Hey guys.
We are back with another episode.
This episode is about boundaries. So I guess let's just get straight into it. I guess, boundaries has been like really touchy to me because I feel like when you have relationships with other people, especially the ones that you love, like sometimes boundaries are non-existent. Or most times.
Yeah. I had a thought about that. And I was all like, is it because when we're having or growing up with siblings, you're like always forced by your parents to like share your things? So it didn't really like create a sense of boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and now that like we're adults or people who, you know, had a whole bunch of siblings are adults now, like you finally can exercise those boundaries. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like you finally, you learn what boundaries are.
Yeah.
Through therapy or through just like trial and error through relationships, but also like growing up, like you said, like you learn that you feel like you're not supposed to have boundaries because you have to share things with your siblings.
Yeah.
But also like when you're being raised by your mom and your dad, when you're just... So pretty much like growing up, when your mom or your dad take you to Aunt so-and-so's house or Uncle so-and-so's house, and
you don't even really like them.
You don't really like them. Like, I don't know. You
not
don't
even
really
like them. You're just not as comfortable.
You're not comfortable around them, but your mom says, go hug Uncle so-and-so. Go hug Aunt so-and-so. But you're like, I don't want to. They said, you better go over there and go hug them. So now you're forced to hug that person that you really didn't want to hug. So like that's where you learn that having boundaries isn't okay or something that
you should isn't supposed to happen. Especially, because I feel like the family aspect of boundaries is like very important, but I also think that the friendship aspect of boundaries is important because I feel like when you're in a family, setting those boundaries is something that can always evolve. But with friends come and go. You know what I mean? So it's like if you didn't set those boundaries before, would that friendship have ended? Or would you guys still be friends today? Like, you know what I mean? So you know how like friendship boundaries is a little bit
like boundaries, how like friendship boundaries. Like when I think of family boundaries, it's like, okay, I don't want my parents to just drop by my house. I don't want, my sister to just force me to babysit the niece and nephew or, stuff like that. Not to say that this happens. I'm just saying that, like, it's an example. Like, stuff like that. But, like, with friends, what are your boundaries? Because usually with your friends, like your best friends, you tell them everything and, like, you open up to them and they know how you feel about your family and they know.
That's why I think it's important to have so growing up we didn't go to school. You know what I mean? We were kind of like homeschooled.
But we weren't homeschooled that long.
Okay.
I feel like
I was homeschooled my entire high school.
Why do you feel that way?
Because the rest was just like at a community college where I did like high school and college at the same time since I was homeschooled. And so I feel like I made friends there, but not long-lasting friends because I don't think I knew how to set boundaries. Like I was still learning to still understand what boundaries even were, I think. So
why did you feel like you need boundaries? Like, why did you feel like you needed boundaries with
I feel like you
your
need
friends?
boundaries with everything.
But, like, can you give me an example? That's what I mean. Like, I don't understand. Like, with family, I understand what kind of boundaries. Can we look up what boundaries are?
Let's look it up, okay. I mean, why do I feel like I needed boundaries? Okay, let me just say this before I look it up. Let me say this. If Kai had a really, like, amazing toy that he really loved, right? And he also had a toy that, like, he got for his birthday. But he likes his favorite toy the most. Not his birthday toy, right? And so he has a friend that comes over. And that friend is like, I want to play, you know? And Kai's all like, okay, here you go. The boundary is don't give him your favorite toy. You better give him the toy that, you got for your birthday, but you have the 2 toy choices. You don't have any more toys that you're...
Like, your favorite toy
versus
you keep for
toy.
yourself because you don't want it to get ruined or, like,
exactly.
Stolen.
That's a boundary.
But you want to give, like, okay, you want to share and still be
Yeah.
nice to your friends, so you give them this toy that you don't really like.
Right, because no matter how much you want to be somebody's friend, they should still respect your boundaries, and you should still set your boundaries from the get, okay?
Yeah, and I also think that,
and
like,
I didn't know that growing up because I feel like I didn't really experience friends in high school and yada yada. You know what I mean? I feel like I would have set those boundaries or
but
knew.
you did experience friends. Well, you did.
It's hard because it's like when you finally make a friend, we went back to homeschool. You know what I mean? It's like an off and on thing. It was an off and on thing. And I couldn't make lasting friendships because we kept going to school and then going back to homeschool and then going to school. And so it wasn't like a regular high school experience where you can just,
Yeah, if you're talking about high school,
grow up with those friends. Not grow up, but like spend 3 years with your friends. And I don't know, I just didn't have that experience until college. Like, college was my high school experience.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. And, like, when it comes to having friendship boundaries or boundaries with your friends, one example of that is, like, what they don't say. They never express it because it's girl code. And, like, with the guys, it's guy code. Like, you should automatically know, like, you shouldn't do that. Like, you shouldn't talk to your best friend's ex.
True.
Like, y'all should not be hooking up. Like, that's a boundary.
Yeah.
And that's girl code, but it's a boundary. And it's a boundary for a reason because that shouldn't be happening. But we should look up what boundaries.
Yeah, let's do that.
Like, what is a boundary? Like, what does that mean?
So the definition of a boundary is a line that marks the limit of an area, a dividing line, something that indicates or fixes a limit or extent.
Your life is your area. Your personal space is your area. So this is my line, and I don't want you to cross it. Now, if you cross it, you cross my boundary, and I'm going to have to set you straight. Okay? So that's
why I think it's so... Go ahead, sorry.
No.
That's why I think it's so important to set those boundaries from the beginning. So it's easier to set more boundaries if need be.
But sometimes you don't know.
Like, does that make sense?
No. I mean, it does make sense. But sometimes you don't know, like, what boundaries you should have with someone because it hasn't been crossed yet. Like, you haven't dealt with it yet. Just like in relationships, we were talking, like, a few days ago about how you don't really know someone until you live with them.
Right.
So when you live with them, you figure out so many other things about the person, how they react to certain things, how they handle certain situations, like how do they come home after work? Like, do they have a happy attitude or a depressed attitude or an angry attitude?
Right.
Like you don't really know. Like, every relationship, you're going to grow and you're going to grow stronger. You're going to grow apart. You're going to grow. You are.
I get what you did there. Yeah, you are.
So it's like when you do grow with someone in a relationship, you don't know everything about them in the beginning. So I feel like it's almost impossible to set boundaries right up front. Like, when you meet someone, you can. Like, if you know, like, certain boundaries like can't be crossed, like girl code. First of all, don't talk to my man.
But going back to the point of when you grow up and you make those mistakes of not setting the right boundaries in the beginning, you learn from it in each relationship. and you take it on to the relationship that you have, so that way you can just be like, these are my boundaries from past experiences. So that's why I think you're probably not going to know all the boundaries, because that person is going to give you a different set of like experiences and things that you may not have known about yourself until that person did that.
I know, but I also feel like you're always growing. So even though, like you said, oh, I was homeschooled, like, regardless of you being homeschooled or not, maybe, it took you a while to learn that boundary that someone who went to school didn't know, but that person's going to have to experience new boundaries. Like, we're always going to have to experience setting new boundaries for different people.
I know, but I feel like boundaries is like a sense of protection, right?
Yeah, I'm not saying it's not.
I'm not saying that you're saying that it's not. I'm just saying that, like, when it comes down to boundaries, the younger you know your boundaries and what they are, the more you can protect yourself.
I know, but sometimes, like, and I'm speaking from my own experience, sometimes you're setting too many boundaries to the point where you have a wall up and people can't really...
No. Yes, that is a thing.
People can't really, like...
That's a thing, too.
Communicate with you or, like, be present with you because... Yeah. Or get to know you on a deeper level because you have a wall up, because of past experiences, because you're like, okay, I'm not going to tell you this, I'm not going to tell you that, because of my past experience. When I did that last time and said something, I got fired, or when I said that last time or something, he broke up with me, or...
I just feel like there's a difference between boundaries and just bitterness.
How's that bitterness? Just because you have a wall up, that's also protecting yourself, and you have every right to protect yourself.
You are, and it takes that one person that can, make you feel comfortable enough to take those walls down. But at the end of the day, it's like, you're not supposed to hold anything. And I feel like having a wall up, there's layers to that. And one of those layers is holding on to stuff. Like, you know what I mean? Holding on to past situations, making you feel like, or masking it with you thinking that you're protecting yourself when really you haven't forgiven that person, you haven't fully moved on, you haven't addressed your emotions in that past. So I feel like, you can say that that's from boundaries, but having walls up is not just from boundaries, okay? I think...
Well, having walls up is the result of having boundaries for different people and relationships. Like, it doesn't mean that, I'm bitter and I'm holding on to grudges.
That was a strong word. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. But I don't know. I feel like maybe bitterness is something I chose for a lack of, a better word. But I think that it could possibly be that. Like, to be honest.
Like it could be either or.
Yeah, and it really just depends on that person.
Okay, so what is one boundary you have with your friends? Like, one boundary that you're like, okay, with all my friends, they know not to do this one thing.
I have to really think about that. I mean, of course, the basic girl codes, like, don't steal or don't talk to my ex. Yeah. And basic girl code, like, don't... basic girl code is going in my head right now. Okay, so I'm looking up girl code right now to see the basics of girl code.
Yeah. Like, see what's the most common girl codes.
Because things change. Like,
I know with Gen Z.
Yeah, things change. I haven't looked this up since 2012, probably.
Same. Like 2013.
Yeah.
Like before college, 2014. So my thing is, like, I guess one thing I would say with all my friends, I just feel like if I don't like that person, you shouldn't like them either. Maybe that's a toxic thing, but if, like, with all my friends, I feel like, okay, you're my friend, like, you can like whoever you want to like. But if you're my best friend, you're my ride or die, like, why do you like the person who did X, Y, and Z to me? Like, that's a little suspicious and a little shady, in my opinion. Yeah. Is it not? I don't understand.
Yeah,
I don't know. Even my man, like, don't be talking to her. You know what she did to me.
Okay, but what if it's, like, a job opportunity? What if it's like a career, like an advancement in someone's life? You would still tell your friend, like, don't talk to them, period. And she has
loyalty is everything.
So, but what about you being a friend to her? Like, what if this opportunity could get her somewhere really, really big?
That's so true, but you have to know that, like, maybe that relationship won't be as strong as it used to be.
That's true.
So that doesn't mean
so
that.
That's her choice.
That's why I said best friend, ride or die. Now I know your place. Now I know, like, okay, then I know you're not really a ride or die.
At the same time, that sounds like an opportunist. It sounds like an opportunist. It does. Like, it really does. It sounds like.
I mean, but like sometimes you need those opportunities. You do need opportunities in life.
I think it depends on the nature. Like, I get it. I think it depends on the nature. Like,
I'm always wonder, like, oh my God, on lunch, are they talking some BS? You know? So I wouldn't be able to trust them fully because I know you're with that person.
Have you had this experience?
Yes.
Okay, so from past experience, that's how you knew that this was the boundary that you set for friends.
Yes, but the opposite. So, like, because I felt like, oh my God, my friend, because I felt like, oh my God, my friend went through this and that person did that to them, I'm not going to talk to them. But that's just me. So me being that way, automatically, I would hope that someone who considers themselves to be my best friend to do that same thing that I would do. Like, you know?
Yeah. I understand that.
Treat others how you want to be treated, right?
Yeah, 100%.
I don't know. But if you ain't going to treat me that way, then I know you ain't going to be there 24/7 when I need you, ride or die. I don't know.
That's true. I would say a girl code would be don't make her choose between, like, you and her partner.
Yeah.
I think that's a really good girl code.
Because I feel like that's messed up when you do.
Yeah, I feel like, especially, like, when it's a serious relationship and you know that, it's like, understand the boundary of me having to split my time, you know? And, like, doesn't mean that I love you any less. And I feel like understanding that and still being close enough to, you know, catch up when you guys can, and still keep that, you know, bond. I think that that's a huge.
But sometimes you're, like, in La La Land and you don't, like, even, like,
that makes sense.
When I was in my first relationship, I wasn't around I didn't split up the time that I spent with my friends and my boyfriend evenly. Like, it was mainly my boyfriend at the time. So I feel like sometimes your girls are like, hello? Like, why aren't you coming out with us tonight? Like, you don't hang out with us anymore, and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Like, I needed you yesterday, this happened, and you weren't there, you were with your boyfriend, but I called you, but you didn't answer. I'm just making up a scenario, but, like, you know, things like this could happen, and then the other friend could be like, I'm sorry, I didn't know, but my boyfriend also went through this and this. So it's like juggling it is really hard, especially when you're like in your little bubble with your new man or woman or relationship in general. Like, I think it becomes hard. It just gets hard. So
yeah, that's why I said when you know that it's a serious relationship, like they've been together for years.
Yeah. You shouldn't make them choose.
Yeah, because
even if you suffer and lose a friend.
Because I feel like no, you shouldn't make them. You shouldn't make them choose. But like when you're in a long relationship, you kind of learned how to juggle it. In a new relationship, of course, there's gonna be like La La Land in the beginning, and your friend's gonna have to check you. And that's just how it's gonna be.
Like you've been in that relationship for 5 years and you ain't got no friends. Your friends, you ain't got no friends anymore because you gave all your attention to your man. Well,
that's, I guess, to each its own, to be honest. I think it's case by case.
That's true, though.
I think it's case by case. So I'm like, is that a sustainable girl code?
I know, I'm like,
I don't know. Maybe I need
That's what I'm saying. I'm like, is it, though? Like, it makes sense, but like...
Because I don't think that's like, I don't know. We'll see. Let's see what other ones. Let's see what it actually says. Okay. Let's see what girl code is all about today. Because maybe there's been some updates that I don't know about.
Been through some stuff and they say this is the new girl code 2024.
Let her know when her bra strap is showing. Don't drive away until she's in her house.
Yes, let her know. That's cute. Oh my god, it like pisses me off. Like it won't even be my friend. If this girl in front of me got her tag showing,
put it in for her. Hold up now.
Like,
I don't do that. I don't understand that.
Hey girl.
Yeah.
Girl, by the way.
Not like do it for her.
You know, just
yeah.
You know.
Don't do it for her though, because
don't do it for her.
That's weird. That's what I thought you were gonna say.
I've
Can you imagine being like in the DMV line and you see somebody behind you with their tag out and then you just reach over and put it in? She's like,
what the me? I don't get down like that. Yeah, you can't be a stranger.
You can't do that.
I have to.
But yeah, that's cute how you did it. You gave a little intro. You cute. And first of all, your tag is out. Like,
girl, where you get that dress from? Like, actually, I already know. It's the tag is showing, by the way. Wow. That's funny. Yeah.
But yeah, don't leave somebody hanging. Don't leave your girl hanging.
Like anyone.
And she'll appreciate that too. If somebody did that to me though, I would be like,
what's your number? What's your Instagram? Let's be friends, because now I see you. I hate when people do that, because it'll happen to me where, dang, not a tag, but I have. No, it'll be like my tag sticking out from my pants, and nobody would say anything. I would go into the bathroom and be like,
help a sister out. In one of these clubs though, I think it was like an LA club or whatever, like before, like if anybody would leave the bathroom, I think it happened like twice. They'd be like, girl, you got something on your shoe. You got some tissue on your shoe.
That's nice.
And that's really nice. Because you don't want to be out here trying to like get it and then you have some tissue on your shoe.
People are so mean. They're like, she got something on her shoe.
And that's she thinks she all cute. If y'all one of those people, no.
That's so wrong.
Don't do that to your girl. Don't do that to your sister. It makes no sense. But either way,
that is a good girl code.
That is a good girl code.
I like that one.
Especially when you're trying to get your man. Like,
or like a job interview, like even if you're going out for the same job, like don't be mean. Like that's so wrong.
Oh, that's a good one.
That's so wrong.
That is a good one.
Like just help the person in an acting audition.
Yeah, even auditions, it's like just be like, hey, what's up, girl? Hope you get it. Hope you get it too.
My God, when I went to this audition with our little brother Dominique, and we were waiting in line to go to. I was going to help him go to the bathroom. Okay. Waiting in line with him. There was this other, I didn't see him, but there was this other woman with her son. And she just kept looking at me. I was like, why is she looking at me like nobody else is in line? What the hell? And so I just asked her, I was like, oh, are you in line too? And she was like, I was like, excuse me, my bad.
Ew.
My bad. Like, it was this.
Ew, but why do you think she did that?
Because there was this air about her that was like, I'm not going to be nice to anyone.
Like arrogant.
My son is going to get this audition. Don't play with him. Don't look at her. Do not mingle with them. Don't smile at them, because we are the ones that are going to book this job. I was just like, girl, it's not that serious. We're all in it for the same reason. Yeah.
She must be new.
Yeah. But people are like that. People are so competitive and they are so selfish that they don't want to help somebody out. Like, they don't want to help them out.
Like, you do realize that your son's going to grow up like that. And
but that's how she probably wants you to
show that to him, that, teach early.
Humility.
So I gotta say, yes. I think with boundaries, I feel like it's really, really important, especially for your mental health and emotional health. I was looking up this thing on BetterHelp, and it says the importance of setting boundaries. When I was reading this article, it was talking about the different boundaries that we should have, or the different boundaries that people set in general. And I was all like, some of these boundaries I didn't even know had to be set, or how to even label what the boundary is. Because I feel like it is important to compartmentalize your boundaries, because
like define what each specific boundary is that
and the category it is in. But so there's emotional boundaries, there's material boundaries, It says material boundaries involves physical things, space, or money. So basically, like when I gave the example of Kai and how, what if, someone has his toy that he didn't want to give away, but he did anyway. Yeah. That's a material boundary. Intellectual boundaries relate to thoughts, beliefs, and ideas. Okay. So maybe like religion.
Yeah, so like I don't want to talk about religion. You already know how I feel about the church.
Politics, stuff like that.
Yeah.
To know your boundaries and what you're comfortable with talking about is like important. Physical boundaries, sexual boundaries. I think all those things speak for itself. It's like time boundaries, relationship boundaries.
I know the time boundaries. I read a whole book. I forgot the name of the book, but maybe I can just like leave a link below. There's this book that my therapist actually gave me as a gift, and it was about setting boundaries, and it went over each one, like you said, material, emotional, and time. Like if you're that person who's like, okay, you said we would go to the mall together at this time. Okay, well, I like to be on time, so 2 p.m. I'm gonna go pick you up at your place. Are you ready? And if you're there at 2 p.m. and you're not ready, then okay, I'm gonna just go, and you can find your own way there. We can go to the mall, or meet up.
And
at
some
the mall.
People are like that,
or event, whatever.
Or some people aren't.
So. Yeah, some people are like, okay, I'll wait 10 minutes, and that's it. 10
they have
minutes
a grace
max.
period.
Yeah,
but there is. I think there's levels to boundaries and different extremities too, especially in like with physical boundaries when it comes down to abuse from a partner or even abuse from any relationship. It could be your mom, it could be your sibling. Like I feel like it's really important to know the basics of what boundary you need to set in order to have healthier relationships and honestly just a healthier mindset. I think that it's important to establish that first so that way you feel confident in any situation you might go into or any relationship you might find yourself in. So I don't know, like I'm a mom now, so I think about these things, raising Kai, like how am I going to teach him about boundaries and healthy boundaries to set? And knowing maybe you're having a little too many boundaries and to just let go a little bit. And so that's one of the things that I'm really going to teach him, especially with the toy scenario. Yeah. Like, I'm keeping that toy scenario so he understands, like, you matter too. And not just the person that you're trying to be liked by. And I think that is one of the things that I really didn't learn until, like, 2 years ago, I think. 2 years ago is when I learned that. It really helped as far as, like, making sure that you're putting the time and effort for what you like and don't like, not just what the other people like. Yeah.
I feel like I learned boundaries, like how to set boundaries early on with friends, at least, from my mom, because when I was being bullied in school, I didn't know how to handle it, so I went to her a lot with dealing with my best friends who would call me long legs or who would just make fun of the fact that I talked a certain way or just different things through elementary and middle school. And she would always be like, that's not a good friend. You don't have to hang out with her because she does this, this, and this. Like, I remember one time I was hanging out with this one girl and I freaking was being taken advantage of to the point where we were playing tag and I chipped my tooth on the playground because she pulled me so hard, and I felt like
God, I remember that.
I shouldn't have. I wanted someone to like me so much and to have a friend because it was hard to make friends for me. That when I did find a friend, she like used me and like took advantage of me being so nice that she like pulled me and I hit a pole and chipped my tooth. And then my actual close friend, good friend, who was in the classroom during like the playground or during recess. She would be in the classroom reading her Bible, and she came out and was like, oh my God, are you okay? I'll go take you to the nurse's room, the nurse's office.
What'd the other girl do?
The other girl, I don't even know. That's what's sad. I don't even know.
She just ran away?
I don't know. She had a sister, and I think her mom worked for the school,
young,
so I don't think it mattered.
Time. Yeah.
But yeah, so I think that's when I learned. But also,
I'm not getting defensive about it.
But also, I felt But it was in the third grade.
Yeah, I know.
But also,
I'm like, she's a kid.
But so I learned setting boundaries then, but just because you learn it or you feel like, okay, I should have done this, it doesn't mean that it's so easy to practice still, because you get so scared of the reaction your family members or your friends or your coworkers
you're breaking habits while you're doing it.
Yeah, and so how do you deal with them reacting to you negatively setting boundaries? Like, that's the tough part. I feel like when you do set a boundary and now that person is upset that you set a boundary.
That person is not meant for you. That friend's not supposed to be in your life. That boyfriend's not supposed to be in your life. Family members, that's a different situation. Therapy is always amazing. Better help. Better help.
Oh my gosh.
So yeah, thank you guys for watching this episode. We really enjoyed talking about boundaries.
It's definitely something that I feel like, I mean, we're still learning. I'm definitely still learning. So
it's definitely something that you grow into knowing, like what boundaries you have. It's a process. Yeah. It really is. But you get stronger because of it, honestly. I truly believe that.
So true. Yeah. I guess that concludes this episode on boundaries. We hope you guys enjoyed it. And like, comment, and subscribe, because we're going to post more videos.
We are. And go over to our other channel. I have Naya by Nature.
And I have my channel, KEIYANA Nicole. And we post videos on there, like, weekly on our
vlogs,
channels.
And music, and everything that we're really passionate about. So, yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. And we'll see you next time.
Bye. Guys.